Hello, I'm Jim Bellacera, and I want to welcome you to Within the Millionaire Mind. Today's lesson is going to be, it's time to take action. A plan plus action equals results. In life, you can either be a spectator watching others live out their dreams, or you can be a participant by getting off the bench and getting into the game. There's no better time than now to draw the line and start moving forward. I want to share something with you. This lady, Susan Boyle, if you don't know who she is, it's okay. She was one of those people that decided to try out for Britain's Got Talent. You've heard of America's Got Talent. You've heard of American Idol and The Voice and so on and so forth. Well, this was years ago. She decided she was going to try out. Now, there's a reason that I'm bringing this up right now, because she was 47 years old when she finally decided to try out. Of course, that's several years ago. She's a little bit older now. But the point is that there were thousands of people who tried out. She's one of the very few that actually won the competition to get in the game of the competition. Eventually, she actually won the competition. This is important you understand, because there were a lot of people that obviously far more beautiful than her, just as talented perhaps, and they didn't even get off the couch. They didn't even go try because they decided that who would bother? You know, there's going to be so many better people than them. Why even bother? Well, today she is a worldwide phenomenon. She was 47 years old at the time that she entered the competition. She changed her whole life because she never gave up on her dream. And I share this with you because this is just one tiny example. Of course, there are people that will say something like, well, you know, Britain's Got Talent gave her a shot. But the bottom line was, how many thousands of people didn't even bother getting off their butt, getting off the couch, even trying to try out? They didn't even try. People who were far more gorgeous than her, far more talented than her, never even entered the competition. It's an amazing story, and you can go on YouTube and type in her name and you'll be able to see firsthand. She's an awesome, awesome singer. You'll really enjoy when she sings. No more putting it off. No more someday I'les. No more watching others live out their dreams. You've got to believe enough in your dreams to be able to just do it. Just go after it. You know, when Nike came up with the slogan, just do it, I can absolutely claim that I've been saying those words since all the way as far back as when I was a kid. I was taught to just do it. My parents told me to do things, and when I got older, I started repeating those words. You know, it's just do it. Don't put it off anymore. I mean, so whether you're committed to exercising regularly, working on your degree, writing a book, starting a new business, the only difference between those who do and those who don't is the doer takes action. You have a whole world out in front of you with opportunity that's endless if you believe you're worthy and your dreams are worthy. So what are you waiting for? If you aren't doing something today to get to where you want to be tomorrow, you're wasting a day. This is a billboard on the side of a freeway. It says, if you were waiting for a sign, this is it. And if you're waiting for somebody to give you permission, I'm going to give it to you right now. Right now, you've got my permission to go chase after your dreams. So what's your plan B? There is no plan B. It's plan A. I have to tell you, this is really interesting. I watch every show, you know, Britain's Got Talent, The Voice in the United States, The Voice in the UK, The Voice in other countries. I watch other, you know, countries got talents. Obviously, American Idol. Why? I'm going to tell you why I watch them. It's not just to see the progression and how these young people and older folks become better and better and better, and then who's going to win the competition overall. I watch them because of the actual entry into the competition and how these people have a dream and a passion. And I cannot begin to tell you the countless times when somebody is interviewing to, to show them what they can do, and they say, I don't have a plan B. This is all I want to do. I mean, of course they're working a job. Of course they're doing other things to exist and pay their bills and drive a car and get around and enjoy what part of life they have to do outside of a job. But their passion, their dream, is to sing or play an instrument or whatever it is that they're doing. There is no plan A or plan B. There is no Will Smith, the actor Will Smith, says, there is no reason to have a plan B because it'll distract you from plan A. Plan B is not for the serious. You think whether you're an artist, a musician, no matter what it is that you do. I think about my brother Joe. My brother Joe's dream was to live off of his artwork. Today, he lives 100% off of his artwork. 100%. His artwork is all over the world. How amazing is that? How cool is that? You know, but I remember when my brother was in his, I would say his late 30s, early 40s, and he says, you know, I just want to live off my artwork. That's my dream. And today, he does. You know, what is your dream? Are you willing to go for it? Those people who say you've got to have a plan B, of course your parents are going to say that because they love you, they care about you. They're afraid that if you fail, rather than care enough about your success, they want you to fall softly. Man, if you're not willing to fall hard, you'll never see your dreams. There's a story about a job that needed to be done. Their names were everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. And they started an argument because, you see, everybody knew that somebody could do what anybody could do, but nobody was willing to pick up the pieces and do what needed to be done in the first place that everybody could have done, while everybody was complaining about anybody not doing what everybody could have done. So nobody did the job. And unfortunately, all it was a bunch of hot air. My whole point in this is the difference between being a nobody and being a somebody is be somebody who takes action to live their dream. Or we can blame everybody for something that anybody could have done in the first place. And that's chase our dreams. You wonder why so few people ever see success in their life? It's really simple. So few people are willing to fight 100% for their dreams, to do whatever it takes every day. And I'm not saying, you know, ignore your family, ignore your children, and not do the responsible thing for your family and your life. I'm saying don't ignore what you really are passionate about. Commit to taking those 10 seconds of boldness. In other words, if you need to pick up the phone to get things rolling, pick it up and start dialing for dollars. Don't waste time thinking about it. Jim, but fear is a liar. Fear is a cheater. Fear is here to destroy what you want so bad. Oh, but Jim, so many people, you know, the people that succeed in life, they're so lucky. Do you know what luck is? Luck is being prepared for opportunity when opportunity and luck meet. You can't get lucky if you haven't fallen down enough times so you know what to do or what to say, when to say it, or how to do what you need to get done because you hadn't gone through the exercise. When fear creeps in and procrastination creeps in, it keeps you from the things that you want in your life. And it's amazing how so few people will ever see the light of day of success in their life simply because they allow fear to creep in, procrastination to determine what they're going to do next. Procrastination is your worst enemy. This cartoon right here says it's a new reality TV show where you lose your job and can't afford TV anymore. That's, I mean, people are looking, oh, well, I can't wait till my favorite show comes on, you know, because, you know, that's what we live for is our favorite show on TV. Are you kidding me? If I'm offending anybody, just turn me off. It's okay. But if I'm offending you and you still have a dream, you better listen to the rest of this message. Because somebody has to tell you, your dream starts now, right now. It'll cost you a fortune of missed opportunity. It can cause you to miss out on life-changing experiences. This other cartoon, it says, sure, computers make work easier, but now I'm expected to do even more. And I just want to say, really? Really? Is it all we want to do is do as little as possible? I mean, even if you love sports, it takes exercise and working. And I mean, it takes getting up and doing what you got to do to be prepared. And I mean, life isn't about doing nothing. I remember when I was growing up, and I would go back and forth to the Bay Area, and I would go through the toll booth, and I would think to myself, oh my gosh, what an amazing job. If I could be a toll booth operator, then I don't have to think. I don't have to do anything. Just work my 8 or whatever hours that they work, collect money, give them back the money that they needed if they gave you a 20 or a 10 or they gave you a $100 bill, whatever. And then you don't have to even think. And you just go home and do whatever you want to do, right? Wrong. I am so grateful I didn't pursue that kind of a job. What a mindless job. What a waste of life. Now, those people are wonderful people. And maybe you even know somebody that actually works as a toll booth operator. But that should be a stepping stone to where they want to go in their life, not a place where they're going to spend their life. Are you kidding me? A life of doing nothing? I mean, the least I can do, the better off I am. Is that really how we think? You know, all these people out there that get these handouts and they teach other people to look, you don't have to do anything, man. The government will pay for it. Are you serious? Those programs were designed for people that needed help, not for people to live that way the rest of their life. A handout should be a stepping stone to a hand up. And maybe one day you can give somebody a hand up. But to live that way, because why? Oh, because, Jim, I was born into poverty. I was born this, things just didn't work out for me and I can't find a job. Really? I want you to think about something. Somebody says that they can't find a job and a month's gone by, 2 months gone by, 3 months have gone by. There's something wrong here. Well, yeah, but, the economy, this and that, any excuse they can use. Let me tell you something. You look at how many retail locations there are right now that are open for business. Countless retail locations. Countless. Crazy number of thousands. Millions across the country. This is just the United States, of course. And you can't tell me that people don't come and go every day at different jobs. That every single person hangs on to the job they have because, if I lost my job, I won't have another. Are you kidding me? People get fired all the time. People quit their jobs to move on to do something else. When someone says they can't find a job, they're not really, really, really trying. The problem is they have the ability to not have to go to work, so therefore they don't bother to try. Well, maybe my parents will support me in the meantime, or maybe I get enough money on unemployment, and my spouse, between my spouse and unemployment, I've got enough, I don't have to do anything. I'm just, I shake my head and think, really? I guess it's easier just to wake up in the morning, watch TV all day and do nothing. How much fun is that? And then, of course, complain, because then you have all this time to complain about the weather, complain about not having the money to go do something, complain about, the news and what's going on around the world is so negative. Or you could be getting up in the morning and just pull the trigger, go get a job in the interim, go chase your dreams. Again, if you don't like what I'm saying, you can just turn this thing off. But I'm sharing with you with all my heart and all my passion that, the percentage of people that will ever succeed in anything in life is so small, simply because there's so few people willing to do what's necessary to achieve their dreams and goals. And I was just giving you an example, but people that complain about not having a job, saying, well, I just don't have, everywhere I go, nobody wants to hire right now. It's really, let me share an experience with you. I had a business. I've been working really hard for many years, self-employed, and the economy was at the worst. Interest rates were hitting 24%. So that takes you back several years. For those of you that are young, you've never even, 24% interest rates, really? Well, those are only credit cards. No, this was 24% interest rates on homes, making it so difficult for people to buy a house. So obviously the construction industry was slowing way down, way down. This was way before 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, and so forth, when the economy really took a nosedive. This is when I was in my mid-20s. And long story short, I was listening to the news and people complaining, and I was working. I mean, I had so much business, it was crazy. And I went out there and I looked up cabinet shops where I could go maybe get hired and not have to think about trying to get the next job, because, being self-employed, you always have to get to work, right? And I remember this one particular shop. I thought, well, I'll pull in here. I had this trailer load of lumber on behind my truck. And I pull in and I walk into the office, and there was all these people filling out an application. I go, oh my goodness, man, they're not going to know who I am. They're not going to know how good I am. If I fill out a piece of paper, it's just going to be another piece of paper that somebody else filled out. And so I go figure, I'm not going to have time to get back here. So I says, is the owner here? And they go, yeah, he's out in the shop. I go, great. So I went out in the shop and I found the owner. I asked some people, I said, could you point out the owner? And I found him. And I walked up to him and I says, hi, my name's Jim Bellacera. I says, look, I'm looking for a job. And he goes, yeah, we'll get in line. He goes, did you fill out an application? I said, you know what, let's just be honest. I can fill out an application, and at the end of the day, you're not even going to see it, because there's so many people filling out applications right now that I'm just going to be another number. In fact, you might not even get to my application to even know that, what I can do. And he says, well, what can you do? And I says, what do you want? I says, you want somebody who can build doors? You want somebody who can cut out? You want somebody who can design the cabinets? You want somebody to go install them? What do you want? What are you looking for? And he goes, whoa. He says, you have quite a diversity in this cabinet business. And I go, I built homes, I built cabinets. You name it, I can do it. I used to be a painter, so I painted cabinets. And he goes, wow, my goodness. And he goes, well, how much are you expecting to get paid? And I told him. And he goes, Jim, we're not paying that much for your job. And I thought, well, golly. So I said, what are you willing to pay? And he told me, and I says, oh my goodness. I go, I couldn't even support myself on that. I wouldn't even have any money for entertainment. I go, by the time I get done paying my utilities and my house payment and blah, 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 I go, it's not going to be worth it to me. So I said, well, here's my application. If you change your mind, I would love to chat with you. And so he calls me up that night. And he said, Jim, he goes, I thought about what you said. I'm willing to pay you what you needed. And it was the craziest thing. I actually told him on the same phone call, I says, I really appreciate you reconsidering, but I'm so busy right now. I don't think it was a good idea that I actually went in there. But I realized all I did was I just went around everybody, walked to the guy who makes a decision. I didn't want to be anybody in the crowd. I wanted to be somebody that stood out, because I knew I would be worthy of being hired. So whether you're walking into a retail establishment or it doesn't matter, even if you have the experience. If you can convince them that you're worthy to be hired, that you'll do whatever it takes. Because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Every employer has had losers come in and ask for a job, and they've hired them. And then they've had to deal with those people who are lazy, good for nothing, not worth nothing, and then they have to deal with firing them after they train them. They would rather train somebody who wants to be there, is willing to work, is not lazy. Now, excuse my language for talking about people that might be considered losers, but you know what? We have a choice every day of our life to get up, put a smile on our face, and go do what we need to do. Or we can get up and go do what we have to do and complain about it and be lazy about it. There's a show called Undercover Boss, and you need to see that show. That is a freaking phenomenal show, man. Talk about the people that are employed by these big corporations that do millions, in some cases do billions of dollars worth of business. And whether it's the CEO or the owner of the company who started it, they go out in the trenches and they meet these people that work for them, and they see how they do it with a smile on their face, and they're happy and they're willing to do whatever it takes. And they complain because they don't get the needed help that they need to have so that they can do a better job. While you have other people complaining about, oh, I have to do that too? Man, the difference in life, I guess misery likes company. Anyways, I'm going to move on. But I just, if it doesn't make you burn inside, then there's something wrong. Somebody has not had enough time with you to help you realize your dream is real. You just need to make a plan of action and go after it. So what are you waiting for? I remember wishing I had taken the time to go skiing up in Tahoe when I first got out of high school. And I didn't do it. And years later, because I got hurt on my job, my company, I crushed my back jumping off of a trailer. I was working so hard I was barely skiing anyways as it was. And by that time I was in my mid-20s and laying on a couch doing nothing because I physically didn't have the ability to work. And so because I was open-minded, I looked at some other options. And now it was options that didn't require me using my hands anymore, but use my mouth, which I was scared to death of people. And I remember going and sitting in this audience, and I was listening to the guy talk about, what's your dream? And I'll never forget, it was so easy for me. I said, my dream is skiing. I just wanted to ski. I was in my mid-20s. I'd been working since the age of 18, every single day of my life just about, and never really enjoying my passion. And 4.5 years later, I found myself a millionaire because of this job, or not job, this career I took. And I found myself skiing all over the country and even some parts of the world. I used to take my snow skis everywhere I would speak because I knew that if it was wintertime and they were close enough to the mountains, I would ask, what the name of the ski resorts that were nearby. I would bring my skis with me so I could stay an extra day or two so I can go skiing somewhere else in the country. Imagine that. I used to think, wouldn't it be great to ski just in Tahoe? But instead, I skied all over. It's new resorts every time I went skiing somewhere. So always something new to experience, always meeting new people. What an experience. And then the next business deal. Procrastination only leads to frustration and gives fear an opportunity to set in, influencing what you do or don't do next. Your future is created by what you do today, not tomorrow. The biggest mistake you could ever make is being too afraid to make a mistake. Ladies and gentlemen, if I didn't make the countless mistakes that I've made, I wouldn't know what I know. I wouldn't have been prepared to do what I do. I had to make mistakes. When your parents love you so much that they don't want you to get hurt, they don't want you to do something that might result in a mistake that might cost you. Man, if you never risk, you never gain. Someday is today to start chasing your dreams. Not tomorrow, because tomorrow never comes. Take action now. Life won't wait. It's happening now. Don't miss out. If you just dive in, you'll get farther faster, and by the way, you'll have less of an opportunity to chicken out, because once you take the plunge, there's no turning back. Doing things slowly is always more painful than getting a quick start. And I hate pain. I hate pain. I'll do whatever it takes to avoid pain if I have to. So when the mind is made up, success is assured. You can live with regrets of yesterday, or you can live for the possibilities of tomorrow by taking action today. You have two choices. Choice number one, you can be in the parade, or you can watch the parade pass you by. It's your choice. You make that choice. Do you want to be in the parade of life, or do you want to watch it go by? Tahoe, college. I'm going to share a little story with you. By the time my son was 18, graduating from high school, we've been talking for the last couple of years about what college he wants to go to, whether he wants to go to Southern California because he loves the ocean, or do you want to go, he even talked about potentially going to college up in Tahoe so he can go snowboarding in between going to college. And I said, or go to Reno. I think that's what he said, Reno. And I said to Justin, I said, look, I says, you have a choice. And I says, I want you to know that I love you. And if you want to go to college, I obviously will support you on that. But I also want you to know that I live with regrets because I wanted to move up to Tahoe and not work. I ended up moving up to Tahoe and working and building houses with my brother. Mansions, actually, for the rich people. And I said, but I didn't get to go skiing all the time because I was so busy working. So I want to encourage you to not live with regrets, because if this is something that you really want to do, because I know you've been talking about that alongside of talking about where you want to go to college, I want you to know that you do whatever you want to do, and I'm going to support you as your dad. Either way, I'm not going to pay your bills if you're going to live up there. That's you have to get a job and do stuff in between so you can support where you live. And but I want you to know that you're never going to hear me say, son, how come you're not going to college? Because if you do it for a year or 2 or 3, at least then you've got something to lean back on and say, hey, I did it. And you'll have stories for the rest of your life. Well, he did move up there, and he did get a job at North Star, and he did get hurt. And so he had to come back sometime before the season was over and get healed back up so he can do what he needed to do next with his life. My daughter, on the other hand, when it was time for her to graduate, which was 2 years later from high school, I said the same thing to her. And she decided she wanted to move up to Tahoe because she didn't want to live with regrets. She wanted to live up there, and she wanted to snowboard as much as she could. And she ended up, taking on some jobs, working at North Star as well. She even worked at a restaurant during the summertime. She lived up there for 2 years, snowboarding and meeting people and enjoying life and doing what she wanted to do. So she can look back in her lifetime and have stories to talk about. Because, life is about stories, isn't it? But if all you do is do what everybody tells you to do, and you don't do what you want to do, then there might be some regret in there. So my son and my daughter both ended up snowboarding. That's my daughter, by the way, on the left-hand side. That smile, she's got a smile that goes from here to the other side of the world. She's just happy-go-lucky, wonderful young lady, willing to do whatever it takes. She's been back down the mountain, if you will, for a little while. She's talking about whether she wants to move to Hawaii and live and work, or she wants to move to Southern California and live and work. But for me, if they want to go to college, they're going to have my support. If they want to go do what they've done, I'm really grateful that they did take that opportunity to experience life at their age, because there's no time like right now. So just do it. Make a list. So what I want you to do now is I want you to make a list of the things you've been putting off, then number them in the order you want to accomplish them and in the order of priority. I want you then to create a plan of action and put a new start date on each one of those so that you can feel good about your dreams and your goals. Because if you put a new start date on them, then it's not like you wasted all this time in your life, because there's never any time like today. So I just want to share with you that if you felt like I was a little hard on you on this particular lesson, just know that if you don't draw a line in the sand, step over that line, put a start date on it, and go after your dreams, you will live with regret. And whether it's to go to college, write a book, become wealthy, whatever it is that you want to do, go start a charity, do it. Do it, because if you don't do it, you'll never learn what you can learn from that experience, and you'll never see another part of life. I think of all the places I've been throughout the entire world. Had I not changed my career path and gone after my dreams, I'd have never experienced all the cultures, the different people. I certainly would have never skied all over the country. I would have never lived the lifestyle. I would have never had the home. The homes. I'd have never had the cars and the money that was made. None of that stuff would have happened. But for me, I live with regret because I never moved up to Tahoe with the purpose of just skiing every day. And having that regret in the back of my mind and having somebody ask me what my dream was helped kickstart what I needed to kickstart so I could actually chase my dreams again and then find out what else was available for me. May God bless you. I hope you apply the things that you've learned in these lessons.